She was abandoned to die in the middle of the savannah, alone, tied up, with no chance of escape. But then, a pride of lions approached, and what they did with her will challenge everything you believe about wildlife. Amanda Williams never sought fame. Since childhood, her heart beat strongly for one cause: protecting animals. After years of study and work at the San Diego Zoo, she made the boldest decision of her life, leaving everything behind and embarking on a conservation mission in Africa. In the vastness of the Masai Mara Reserve, she found a new purpose. The environment was hostile, the rules of the jungle were relentless, but Amanda felt ready. At least, she thought so. That morning, the sky seemed clearer than normal. Amanda woke up early, filled her backpack with water, snacks, a radio, and protective equipment. Her daily routine included patrols through the most remote areas of the reserve to monitor wildlife and, above all, prevent the action of illegal hunters. It was dangerous work, but vital. That day her teammate got sick at the last minute. Still, she didn't hesitate. The patrol had to be done, and she volunteered to go alone. While driving her vehicle through the dusty trails, she observed antelope tracks, recorded suspicious movements, and kept her senses alert. But what she saw next made her heart race. In the distance, near dense vegetation, an unknown truck was parked without visible license plates. It was unusual and extremely suspicious. Amanda slowed down, grabbed her binoculars, and analyzed the scene. Two men beside the vehicle were nervous. Something wasn't right. With her usual bravery, she decided to approach. She signaled for the men to stop. They hesitated but obeyed. Firmly, Amanda demanded that they open the rear compartment, and there, chained and wounded, was a rhinoceros, another victim of illegal hunting. Before she could react, the hunters attacked her, and everything changed. Amanda tried to defend herself, but everything happened too fast. A blow to her back, a violent grip on her shoulders, and in seconds she was on the ground, immobilized. The two men dragged her without saying a word. She screamed, threatened, talked about legal consequences, but they didn't care. They tied her hands with rough rope and tied her to a solitary tree, far from the main road where no one could hear her. The African sun was already high, burning everything around her. The dust raised by the truck disappeared in the distance, taking with it any immediate hope of rescue. Amanda sat on the burning ground, with marked wrists and her face covered in sweat. Her throat was dry, and the water she carried was inside the vehicle, now out of reach. She tried to loosen the rope, twist her wrists, find some slack, but it was useless. Each attempt only increased the pain. Hours began to pass slowly, and the strength she had at the beginning gradually disappeared. The vegetation around her seemed to mock her helplessness. The sounds of the savannah intensified, as if the natural world was about to reveal something she didn't yet understand. Amanda's mind, accustomed to controlling and planning, now faced the unknown, and that unknown manifested as fear, not just for what could happen to her, but for the rhinoceros, left in the hands of criminals. That animal needed help, and there she was, tied up, helpless. The midday light was cruel. The tree's shadow barely protected her. Flies circled her face, sweat dripped from her eyes, and then, as if nature had decided to disrupt this story, a different sound echoed through the dry bushes. First low, then louder, a guttural, low sound, familiar and completely out of context for someone in her situation. Amanda held her breath. It wasn't wind, it wasn't a machine, it was a roar. The sound was approaching. First, a crack among the dry branches. Then steps, slow, heavy, steady. Amanda turned her face toward the noise, her heart beating hard, her breathing caught in her throat. And then she saw them. 3 lionesses slowly emerged from the tall vegetation, their golden eyes fixed on her. Silent, majestic, hungry? Amanda didn't know. Her instincts screamed danger, but she had no way to escape, no way to fight. She was completely exposed. The lionesses surrounded the tree. Their presence was imposing, but not aggressive. Still, the tension in the air was unbearable. Amanda held their gaze, trying to control the panic, and then, as if obeying an invisible order, the females moved to the side, making way for something even more impressive. A large lion with a dark mane and a scar on his neck emerged from the bushes. He didn't roar. He just walked toward her, his gaze seeming to recognize her. Amanda froze. The animal stopped a few meters away, lowered his head, and, to her absolute amazement, began to tear the rope that held her. For an instant, time stopped. Amanda recognized that scar. It wasn't a coincidence. She knew that lion. Amanda could barely believe what was happening. That lion, with his intense eyes and precise movements, showed no sign of aggressiveness. On the contrary, there was something almost familiar in his attitude. And then, looking more closely at the scar on his neck, a forgotten memory crossed her mind. A year before, during a night patrol, Amanda had found a young lion gravely wounded. He had been attacked by a hyena and was fighting for his life. Without thinking twice, she helped him, providing first aid right there in the savannah and calling reinforcements to take him to the reserve's veterinary center. For 3 months, she closely followed his recovery, cleaning his wounds, feeding him with her own hands, talking to him as if he were an old friend. At the time, many said her efforts were in vain, but Amanda believed that all wildlife deserved a chance, even when statistics said otherwise. And now that same lion was there, strong, alive, free, and doing something that no wild instinct could explain, trying to free her. With his claws, he pulled the rope delicately, as if he knew exactly what he was doing. The lionesses watched from a distance, motionless. Amanda felt the fibers breaking slowly. Her hands were numb, but she felt the rope's tension decreasing. When the last thread finally broke, she fell to one side, exhausted, with her eyes watery with tears. She looked at the lion, still incredulous. He stepped back and emitted a low sound, almost a soft murmur, as if saying, "Everything is okay now." Amanda moved, extended her hand, and he allowed a light touch on his mane. It was a moment of pure connection, impossible to explain with logic or science. There in the heart of the African savannah, nature repaid an act of compassion with an even grander act. Amanda knew she could never tell that story without being called crazy, but she also knew that what she had experienced was real. The lion's gaze contained a truth that only those who deeply respect animals can understand. Although her body was weak and her wrists marked, Amanda gathered strength. Moved by adrenaline and admiration for what she had experienced, she ran to her vehicle, turned on the radio, and sent an urgent call to the base. Her voice trembled, but she was firm. There was a rhinoceros in danger, and she knew exactly where to look for the hunters. In a few minutes, a rescue team was mobilized. Amanda and her colleagues followed the tracks left by the truck to the edge of the forest. There, they spotted the vehicle trying to escape through a clandestine route. The chase was quick. With no way out, the criminals were surrounded and arrested. The rhinoceros, although frightened, was found alive. Veterinarians treated him immediately and confirmed that, with care, he would recover completely. Amanda watched in silence, relieved. Justice had been done and a wildlife had been saved once again. That night, Amanda returned home in silence, with her body tired, but her soul at peace. While the starry sky covered the savannah, she thought about the lion, the broken rope, the life saved. She smiled, with her eyes full of tears. She understood that, in the jungle, compassion has memory, and that sometimes the one you save one day saves you. Tomorrow she would be back on patrol, with more courage than ever, because protecting life is always worth it. What did you think of this story? Leave your opinion in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Until the next video.